My best friend Chris is not much of an outdoor person. You could say he's a homebody. A homebody is basically someone who enjoys spending most of their time at home. They try to spend less time in the social scene, even though they are just as social in nature and do not avoid people. So I wasn't surprised to hear that he had met a girl earlier that week who invited him to a house party that was happening a couple of miles away from our neighborhood. He had asked me to tag along, as this was to only be the second encounter between the two of them. We decided to Uber to the party later that evening. It wasn't as difficult as we thought it would be to find the venue, as we kept communication with the girl. So upon arrival, we were greeted by her and her friends, who passed us some drinks. The girl was by far cooler than I thought she would be. We met more of her friends, played some drinking games before we decided to call it a night. It was slightly after midnight and Chris was already out of it. I had to literally hold him up straight as I tried to order an Uber. Fortunately enough for us, there was an Uber around the area. It literally took the driver like 4 minutes to pick us up. The ride home was fairly quiet until we heard some sounds coming out from the car. "Oh shit," said the driver. I knew by the look on his face that we were screwed. It was 1 a.m. and we were stuck on a dark, empty road, situated right next to the woods. My dad is a lover of classic cars. Growing up, I spent most of my time in the garage with him, working on cars. So when we checked our phones and realized we had no connection, I offered to help spot and possibly fix the problem. Chris was still in the back seat, passed out, while me and the Uber driver worked on figuring out what the problem was. "You heard that?" the driver asked. We both gazed through the trees before hearing a heavy set of footsteps, sounding like they were either moving slowly closer or further from us. "Dude, we need to get the fuck out of here," I said, as I tried to hide the fear behind my voice. Going through the car, I realized the problem was either on the fuel pump or the ignition. The next fuel garage was like half a mile from where we got stuck, so one of us would have to either walk to get some help, or we could just sit in the car and pray a vehicle drives by. The next fuel garage was like half a mile from where we got stuck, so one of us would have to either walk to get some help, or we could just sit in the car and pray a vehicle drives by. I noticed a single network bar on my phone. I hurried up and contacted my dad to come pick us up, and to bring a couple of tools with him so we can assist the driver. It was during the call that we heard a creepy laugh coming from the woods. It sounded like an old man's laugh. "Who the fuck is there?" I asked. Our first thought was that it was just a prank, but who would sit in the middle of nowhere waiting for random cars to break down in the middle of the dark road? We heard a couple of footsteps running around the surrounding trees on both sides of the road. Okay, now we were starting to get freaked out, cause whoever or whatever is out there was not alone. I called out to Chris, who was still passed out in the back seat, but unfortunately he was way too drunk. I sighed in relief when I saw my dad's van driving towards us. We told him about the movements in between the woods, but my dad laughed it off. He couldn't fix the car, so he told it to his van. My friend woke up, a bit confused but still drunk. I helped him hop inside my dad's van, and at that very moment 4 dark figures, who I've now identified as 4 creepy looking men, to back off. They just stood there, silently. We all hopped in my dad's van, driving off, before looking back to see possibly 10 dark figures of people standing right in between the road, staring right back at us. We dropped off the driver along with his vehicle safely at a garage before riding back to my house along with my best friend Chris. Me and my dad talked about the events later the following day, trying to make sense of it all. My best friend was shocked to hear about the events that took place, as he couldn't recall anything due to being half dead throughout the whole ordeal. We never got the chance to find out what happened to the driver, as we couldn't exchange any contact details. Me and my dad also agreed to never use that highway after dark ever again.